Today's question: how is Rahu with Moon? The answer to your question is in two words: mind and Vasana. When Rahu is with the Moon, the Vasana or the desire is intense, physical, sexual, and basically all that glitters, all that brings pleasures, all that shows off, all that is intellectual becomes the sutra, the sermon of the native's life. Now, how can you distinguish good and bad? Vasana is vasana, desire is desire. Whether you want to have sex after marriage or before marriage, the core desire of having sex remains. Now, it is your mind that goes on judging, because the mind is given by society. It is not given to you by existence. The mind is not natural. The heart is natural. Learn to witness to all that goes on in a mind, because the mind is a social phenomenon. It is not a God-given gift, it is a social exploitation. And it is society that creates a mind in you, and through that mind controls you, keeps you imprisoned, chained, reduces you to slave. You are not the mind. You are the witness who can see the mind very easily. You can see the thoughts moving in your consciousness. Those thoughts are the content of the consciousness. Those thoughts are the content of the consciousness, but they are not consciousness itself. Understand this. Rahu plus Moon, man or woman, cannot understand this. So understanding my answer is next to impossible. If they understand, it will remain just on the circumference. It cannot sink in. Rahu blocks anything that can help the self to grow in true sense. It is a very poor placement. Rahu with Moon, from a spiritual perspective, definitely it is a very poor placement. From material perspective also, it is an unfortunate placement, because here the native never is satisfied with whatever he or she has. The focus is always on the outward. Interestingly, such men and women always are fascinated with whatever other men or women have. They may be living in a good apartment, but they always find others' apartments more attractive. They may have a handsome husband, but they feel that the other woman's husband is more attractive. To marry a woman having Moon plus Rahu is in itself a great challenge. Of course, such a woman may be beautiful, also sexy, but to live your whole life with her is like dancing on her tunes until one day you drop down dead. But God is kind. God has been kind enough to strike the exact match. In fact, God is the best matchmaker. And so, generally such men or women are attracted towards Rahuish men. You see? And then it all goes well. When both husband and wife are running to accumulate more and more, to show off more, then there is no problem. So such a native should always look out for a man or woman who is Rahuish by nature. Then it is a good match. Else, the marriage or relationship can turn into a tragedy. Rahuish or ambitious, such men or women need to have partners who can complement them by correlating with their inbuilt qualities. A Martian man or a Martian woman is highly sexual by nature. You have to find someone who can satisfy their sexual passion. If you end up getting a rabbit in place of a lion, how long can the rabbit sustain? For a lion, you need to find a lioness. For a rabbit, you need to find a nice female rabbit. In our country, when it comes to marriage, caste comes first, nature comes later. In reality, nature should come first and then the caste. By nature, if you are too sexy, too sexual, too hot, then you need someone who can satisfy your sexual needs. And it is not just for one night, it is for the whole life, as long as you remain married. And so the ancient seers, the ancient sages always emphasized first on matching the qualities, nature, and passion. To a Rahu plus Moon individual, sex is important. Sex is essential. And it is this sexual nature that can lead him to many miseries of life. The master says, sex brings fatigue. That's why I tell you not to ignore it. Unless you know its madness, you cannot get rid of it. As long as you do not recognize its meaning, the change is impossible. The meaning of sex is that your energy flows down further. You are losing energy. Energy should go up and down. Then it nourishes you. Then it brings strength. But if you constantly go after sex as crazy, then this energy will be misused. Soon you will find yourself tired and nonsensical. But the problem with Rahu plus Moon is that they cannot understand this. They constantly go after sex. It is not their mistake. From many past births and rebirths, they have committed such karmic cycle that their consciousness remains blocked. Now Moon is fired up by desires, Rahu. And it is this desire that makes them run behind material pleasures, be it woman, men, car, money, power. All that is pleasurable is the point of attraction for them. If another planetary aspects are not supportive, then such a man will not hesitate to get into extramarital relationships. For them, sex is foremost, physical intimacy, and so who can stop such a man? Man runs behind his desires, the intense desire for pleasure, for sex, and then when his desires are fulfilled, he starts suffering. Divorce, breakups, all of these are the trigger points that bring him closer to the many sufferings and miseries of life. Think before you desire a thing. There is every possibility that it will be fulfilled and then you will suffer. Such a beautiful quote. And it is so true. People in the beginning, they want to marry a woman, or a woman wants to marry a man. That is the desire. And they do all sorts of things just to get married to their point of attraction. But then what happens? Love fades away, desire is fulfilled, and love starts fading away. And then things change from good to bad, and then you start suffering. So you see, there is every possibility that your desire will be fulfilled and then you will suffer. Rahu moon person is purely material by nature. If Rahu is placed alone in the ascendant, then the woman is attractive, has a good sex appeal. Many models, actresses have Rahu in the ascendant, but this Rahu should be in Virgo or Libra. In Venus or Mercury signs, Rahu brings glamour and many pleasures of the bed. And the same is applicable to a man who has Rahu in the ascendant. He has a personality that can attract the opposite sex. Rahu in ascendant does well for TV personalities, news anchors, or professions where presentation and personality matter a lot. It is also a good placement for politicians. They know how to fake well. Rahu indeed is a master in faking. But these all are points that you can find out from other sources as well. I am more interested to focus on the desires that this Rahu brings along. Desire means you are not in the present moment, and all that is there is only the present moment. You are somewhere in the future, and the future is not yet. Desires lead into the future, into fantasy, into dreaming. Astrology is useful in bringing you to your present by disclosing certain aspects of your future. A few months ago, a real incident happened. A woman had come and she said, I am in love with this man and we have been going out together for a while. Now I want to know, when will he marry me? I said, come out of your rosy dreams. The man is going to find someone else soon. A turning point is going to come in his life soon, and I see you nowhere in this turning phase of his life. The woman said, that is not possible. He loves me so much. Every morning, every night, he calls me. I don't believe what you say. Thank you. And she left. And then after 3 months, one afternoon, I received a mail from the same woman. The same woman wrote an email to me in which she said, you were right. He has moved on, and that is the greatest shock of my life. He is all set to get married to some other woman. Now when will I get married? Because he is gone. So you see, the mind is always in the future or in the past. The mind is rarely in the present, and the moment it is in the present, meditation happens. Meditation succeeds. So before trying to figure out what is Rahu, I urge all my listeners and followers and fellow travelers to first understand what desire is. Desire means that right now you are not okay, you are not at ease. Something else in the future will bring you peace. The fulfillment is always in the future. It is never here and now. This tension of the mind for the future is desire. Desire means you are not in the present moment, and all that is there is only the present moment. Life flows in the present moment because past is no more and future is not yet. Another aspect of Moon Rahu conjunction is the urge to cause harm, the urge to attain self interest at any cost, and the nature of being jealous and the attraction towards black magic, occultism, dark tantric practices. Rahu wants everything at any cost. So, such men or women also become good tantrics, black magicians, casting spells, using spirits of dead people to cause harm to another person. Many aghoris and mantriks also are seen with this placement of moon with Rahu. This is a very general overview. There are millions and millions of dimensions to this placement, though the essence of it is in one word: ignorance. This is not a good placement. It leads to more miseries than otherwise. All magic arts, black magic or white magic, are man made. It is not the outcome of the self, it is the outcome of the mind. The mind is trained to concentrate on a certain thought process, and the mind is empowered to cast magic spells on others. Now, if you have nurtured positive energy, you will cast spells for some good development. This is white magic. But if you have nurtured negative energy, you will cast spells for breaking marriages, breaking relationships, causing hurdles in marriage prospects, career, family life. Basically, you will use your energy for a negative purpose. What is black magic? Black magic is nothing but when a man has accumulated thought energy without throwing out his negativity beforehand. And white magic is nothing but when a man has attained too much thought energy and has based his total being on a positive attitude. The energy with negativity becomes black. The same energy with positivity becomes white. A thought, therefore, is a great force. It is a thing. Magic is man-made. Miracle is God-made. Sai Baba says, what God gives is never exhausted. What man gives never lasts. Desires remain. A conscious man also has certain desires, but those desires of a higher nature. Higher desires come when the mind is purified. A purified mind has desires of higher altitudes. The desire to meditate, desire to become more and more meditative, desire to share something valuable, desire to help others. These all are desires, but they are of higher quality, higher dimensions. Of course, it is a starting point. The end point is when the soul, after going through the many journeys of positive desires, eventually reaches the stage of desirelessness, and that's Ketu. So love, but love something of higher nature, something superb, something that can take you to the higher altitudes. Love is contagious. What you love is what you become. There is a beautiful story, a story that is close to my heart. On the outward, it may appear very simple, but in reality, it is significant in many ways. It happened that Gautam Buddha came to a town. The whole town had been waiting for his arrival, and finally he arrived. But he was looking backward at the road because a small girl, not more than 13 years old, had met him on the road and told him, "Wait for me. I am going to give this food to my father on the farm, but I will be back in time. But don't forget, wait for me." Buddha continued to look back at the road. He was waiting for that little girl. The people could not understand what was happening. Somebody stepped ahead and said to Buddha, "For whom are you waiting? Everybody important is present. The mayor of the town is present. All the officials are present. You can start your discourse." Buddha said, "But the person for whom I have come so far is not yet present, and I have to wait." Finally, the girl arrived, and she said, "I am a little late, but you kept your promise. I knew you would keep the promise. You had to keep the promise because I have been waiting for you since I became aware. Maybe I was 6 years old when I heard your name, just the name, and something started ringing a bell in my heart. And since then it has been so long, 10 years maybe, that I have been waiting." And Buddha said, "You have not been waiting uselessly. You are the person who has been attracting me to this village." And Buddha spoke. He gave his discourse, and that girl was the only one who came to him and said, "Initiate me. I have waited for enough, and now I want to be with you." Buddha said, "You have to be with me because your town is so far off the way that I cannot come again and again. The road is long and I am getting old." The whole village had gathered, but only this one little girl stepped ahead and expressed her desire to be initiated. How beautiful is this! How deep is this story! Only a meditative man can relate. Only someone who loves the Buddha can relate. Only someone who is following his heart can relate. All the way, Buddha came to this town just for that little girl. Her devotion, her love, her dedication, how to express, language is really poor. The Master came for her. The Master can come for you also. But the question is, how deep is your faith? How pure is your desire? How much ready are you to surrender in totality? On the same night, Ananda, Buddha's close disciple, asked a beautiful question. He said to Buddha, "Before you go to sleep, I want to ask you one question. Do you feel a certain pull towards a certain space, just like a magnetic pull?" And Buddha gave a beautiful answer. An answer that should be written in gold. Buddha said, "You are right. That's how I decide my journeys. When I feel that somebody is thirsty, so thirsty that without me there is no way for the person, I have to move in that direction." That is how the Divine Masters move. It is your thirst, it is your deep love, unwavering faith that pulls them towards you. You may be going through many difficulties. This human life has more miseries than happiness. Do not get entangled. Remain at the seashore and become a witness to all that is happening in your life. Always remember, you are not here by accident. There is a purpose to your existence. Right now, you may feel that nothing is happening in your life, but that is your short-sightedness. You are looking at your life from the ground level. God is looking at your life from the top. You don't know what He is doing to your life, but you will know when the time is right. Jesus says, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." Trust God's process. Trust His timing. Let Him drive your life, and then you don't have to worry much. For when you have surrendered your life to Him, can anything ever go wrong? And even if you think it has or it may, up in the sky God is smiling, for it is only He who knows that what seems wrong to your mind is in reality right and not wrong. Faith is necessary. Faith tells us that no matter what lies ahead of us, God is already there. Move away from the illusions, Rahu, and move towards the reality within, Ketu. Move away from hate and move towards love, and you all would see miracles happening in your life. A miracle is not a myth but a reality. Albert Einstein said, "Don't wait for miracles. Your whole life is a miracle." It indeed is, only if you are aware, only if you are meditative, only if you are coming closer to yourself, that you can realize the true meaning of the word miracle. Miracles have a purpose. Miracles help people believe in enlightenment. The real miracle is the transformation of consciousness from limitation and pain to enlightenment and ecstasy. So, always remember, everything is possible only if you are willing to jump within. The way to overcome Rahu, especially when it is with the moon, is only by being more and more meditative. Else there is no way out. The cage is locked and the soul continues to suffocate in the darkness of ignorance caused by the desires called Rahu. It is in your hands whether to create paradise or fall into a darkness, into hellfire. These are not outside you, these both are within you. It all depends what you choose to be. The only way out, the only key to unlock this cage and experience freedom, total freedom, is through meditation. The first thing that should be as a foundation for your whole life is the art of meditation. Anything else should come later on. Meditation is enough. Everything else follows on its own. There is no other miracle in the world than meditation. It is the only science that can transform you into a new man. Be patient, be faithful. Nothing happens before time and nothing happens after time. Everything happens in time. Meditate.